Imagine waking up one morning and realizing that the small $500 you tucked away into crypto just a couple of years ago had grown into $50,000. Not because of luck, not because you hit some impossible lottery ticket of a coin, but because you followed a simple, clear, and realistic strategy. Sounds unbelievable, right? But here's the thing. In crypto, this story has already happened not once, not twice, but thousands of times. The difference between the people who make it and the people who lose everything isn't luck, it's discipline, timing, and understanding the game. Most people think crypto is a gamble. They imagine throwing money at some random meme coin and hoping it goes to the moon. And sure, sometimes lightning strikes, but if you actually want to turn a small investment into life-changing money, you can't treat it like a casino. You need to treat it like a strategy, one that gives you the best possible odds without relying on blind luck. Now here's the truth. $500 turning into $50,000 is not an overnight thing. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme. It's a journey that requires patience, smart decision-making, and the ability to hold strong when everyone else is panicking. If you're willing to do that, then what I'm about to share could be the blueprint that changes the way you look at money forever. Let's start with the most important piece of the puzzle, timing. Timing in crypto is everything. Buying at the wrong time can set you back years, but buying at the right time, that's when fortunes are made. Think about it. In early 2020, before the bull run, Bitcoin was trading under $7,000. Ethereum was under $200. Imagine taking just $500 then, splitting it between the top coins, and holding until 2021, when Bitcoin hit nearly $69,000 and Ethereum crossed $4,000. That $500 would have easily multiplied dozens of times, but most people missed it because they didn't understand cycles. And that's the first rule in this strategy. Don't chase hype. Don't buy when everyone else is screaming about getting rich. Buy when things are quiet, when the news is negative, and when fear is at its highest. That's when prices are low and that's when opportunity lives. But buying low isn't enough. You need to know what to buy. If you throw $500 into a random meme coin, you might get lucky, but most likely you'll lose everything. So the second rule is this: focus on projects with real utility, strong teams, and long-term potential. The coins that change the world are the ones that solve problems. Think about Ethereum. It introduced smart contracts and opened the door to DeFi, NFTs, and an entire digital economy. Solana brought lightning-fast transactions. Chainlink connected blockchains to real-world data. These weren't just tokens, they were solutions. And solutions create value. So here's how you can realistically grow that $500 into something much bigger. Break it down into stages. The first stage is foundation building. Put the majority of your money into safe, proven projects, Bitcoin and Ethereum. These are the anchors of crypto. They won't give you 1,000 times return, but they will grow steadily and protect you from complete collapse. Think of them as your insurance policy. If Bitcoin goes from $30,000 to $150,000 in the next bull run, that's a 5x right there. If Ethereum goes from $2,000 to $10,000, that's also a 5x. Your $500 turns into $2,500 just from the big names. Not bad, but we're aiming for more. The next stage is growth coins. This is where you put a chunk of your money into altcoins with serious potential. Look for projects with active development, strong communities, and a clear use case. For example, in the last cycle, coins like Polygon, Cardano, and Avalanche all delivered massive gains. A $500 investment in Polygon at the right time could have turned into tens of thousands. Why? Because it solved real problems with Ethereum scaling. So the growth section of your portfolio is where the real multiplication happens. Finally, we come to the moonshot stage. This is where you take a small piece of your portfolio, maybe $50 or $100, and put it into riskier bets. These are small cap projects that could blow up in the next bull run. Now, you don't expect all of them to succeed. In fact, most might fail. But if one of them does 100x, that $50 becomes $5,000. And if 2 or 3 hit, suddenly you're looking at life-changing money. In 2018, a cryptocurrency called Binance Coin (BNB) was not well known and cost less than $10. Just 3 years later, in 2021, its price skyrocketed to over $600. This massive increase meant that the coin's value grew by more than 60 times. To put that into perspective, if you had invested just $100 into BNB when it was cheap, that same investment would have grown to a whopping $6,000 in a very short period. This incredible growth wasn't a rare fluke. It was a common story in the crypto world during that time. Other cryptocurrencies saw even more dramatic gains. For example, some early investors in Solana, SOL, saw their money multiply by more than 200 times. Imagine turning $100 into $20,000. Another digital asset, Axie Infinity, AXS, which is part of a video game, gave investors a return of over 100 times their initial investment at its highest point. These aren't made-up stories. They are real examples of what happened. They show the incredible potential for growth that exists in the world of cryptocurrency. The secret to these amazing returns was a simple 3-step strategy. First, you had to be able to identify these projects early, before they became popular. This often means doing your own research and taking a chance on a new idea. Second, you had to have the patience to hold on to your investment through all the ups and downs. The markets are volatile, and it's easy to panic sell when prices drop. Finally, you had to know when to sell to lock in your profits, rather than waiting too long and risking a price crash. It's all about finding the right balance of patience and timing. But here's the part nobody likes to talk about: the emotional roller coaster. You see, turning $500 into $50,000 sounds amazing, but the road to get there is full of fear, doubt, and temptation. Imagine watching your $500 turn into $2,000, then drop back to $700 during a dip. Most people would panic and sell. But the winners, they hold through the storms because they understand the bigger picture. They know dips are temporary, but the long-term trend is up. That's why mindset is just as important as strategy. If you're constantly refreshing your portfolio every hour, you're going to make bad decisions. You need to zoom out, focus on the long term, and trust the process. And let's not forget about taking profits. One of the biggest mistakes people make is waiting too long, thinking the price will keep climbing forever. It won't. Every bull run has a top. If you don't sell along the way, you'll end up watching your $50,000 shrink back to $5,000 in the blink of an eye. So be smart, take profits in stages. Sell a little when you double, sell a little more when you 5 times, and always secure some wins. That way, no matter what happens, you walk away with money in your pocket. Now let's zoom in on the realistic math. Let's say you take $500 and split it into 3 buckets. $250 into Bitcoin and Ethereum, $150 into growth coins, and $100 into moonshots. If Bitcoin and Ethereum 5 times, your $250 becomes $1,250. If your growth coins 20 times, which is realistic in a bull run, your $150 becomes $3,000. And if just one moonshot hits 100x, your $100 becomes $10,000. Add it all up, and suddenly your $500 has turned into $14,250. And that's with just one moonshot. If you hit more than one, or if the market overperforms, you could realistically see that number multiply further. That's how you reach $50,000. Not from luck, not from hype, but from a balanced, disciplined strategy. Of course, none of this works if you don't do your research. Never just copy what someone else is buying. Learn to evaluate projects yourself. Look at the team. Are they real people with experience, or anonymous developers hiding behind avatars? Check the community. Is it active, supportive, and growing, or is it full of bots and hype? Study the tokenomics, how many tokens are in circulation, and how many will be released later. These details matter. They're the difference between a coin that grows and a coin that crashes. Another critical piece is security. The fastest way to lose your $500 is by falling for scams, phishing links, or shady exchanges. Always use trusted platforms, secure your coins in a hardware wallet, and never ever share your private keys. Remember, in crypto, you are your own bank. Protecting your money is your responsibility. Now let me paint a picture for you. Imagine it's 2025. The bull run is in full swing. Bitcoin is at $150,000. Ethereum is at $12,000 and altcoins are exploding left and right. You check your portfolio and your $500 has grown into $50,000. Your friends are shocked. They thought crypto was a scam. They laughed when you said you were investing. But now you're the one smiling because you had the patience, the courage, and the strategy to make it work. And here's the most exciting part. This story is not just a fantasy. It's already happened to thousands of people in the last cycle. The only question is, will you be one of the people who take advantage this time? Or will you sit on the sidelines and watch history repeat itself? So if you want to turn $500 into $50,000, remember this. Buy when others are fearful, focus on real projects, diversify your bets, hold through the storms, and take profits when the time is right. It won't be easy, but it will be worth it. So now I want to hear from you. If you had $500 to invest right now, where would you put it? Would you go all in on Bitcoin, or would you chase the next big altcoin? Drop your answer in the comments. I read every single one. And if you found this strategy helpful, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next video. Because in the world of crypto, timing is everything, and you don't want to be late to the next big move.